Welcome to the Coordinated Entry system for balance of state users. This covers how to do coordinated entry through the no wrong door system. In other words, under the no wrong door system, each agency is responsible for entering clients into the coordinated entry system and making the appropriate referrals. Some counties may have a different process in place. In those cases, you'll want to refer to your agency for the best way to perform coordinated entry. Let's begin. So first, we'll always want to make sure that we're in our correct enter data as mode. And for coordinated entry, that's going to be project 717, which we see listed here. So let me just go and add that. And you always want to make sure you're in the appropriate backdate mode if you are doing the data entry a couple days later. My scenario, I'm actually doing the coordinated entry assessment the same day. So I'll leave the backdate as my current date here. Now I'm going to go ahead and search for my client, and I have a client already in the system, our coordinated entry client. And if you have questions about searching for a client or finding our client data, you'll want to go ahead and refer to the HMIS introductory series, which have a lot more information about how to search for a client and enter their data. This training will just cover the parts specific to coordinated entry. So let me go into my client here. I see my client, my summary, my client profile. My client has no households in this scenario, so I'll leave the households tab alone. It's always a good idea to move left to right to make sure everything is covered while entering data into HMIS. And so the next tab we have is our ROI tab. Now, for balance of state users, it's essential to have the ROI in place and recorded on HMIS. And actually, let me minimize the left-hand bar to give us more room. So the ROI, without that being in place, will not share the client's data with anyone else. And for a coordinated entry system, if you're putting a client in coordinated entry and you don't add an ROI, no other agency can receive the referrals or the data that you're entering into HMIS. So let's go and make sure that we get this completed before we even continue with our client's entry. I'll put my name here. All right, perfect. All right, and here we have it. It's good for the next year. We'll always make sure that this does have to be redone every year. But as it is in place right now, when it is current, we'll move on to the entry exit tab. And here we're going to go ahead and add an entry exit into our coordinated entry project. And we want to make sure our provider and our data are correct. If either one of these are incorrect, that means we're not in the right EDA or backdate mode. And we'll select the type of HUD. Perfect. Okay. So let's scroll down here. So the first assessment we'll see is the UDE assessment, and this has been pre-filled out because this has been covered in the introductory training. If there are any questions, you can always refer to the introductory training or submit a ticket to the HMIS help team or the help desk at hmisaz.org. So we'll jump to the VI SPDAT pre-screen, and this is really used to assess the client's acuity score and what need they're in before referring them out to the appropriate agencies. So before actually doing the VI SPDAT, you'll put the interview date, you'll put the interviewer name, so not necessarily the person who was entering the data, you want to actually put the name of the person who did the actual interview, because most likely you'll be entering the VI SPDAT from a paper document in most cases. So in this case I'm going to put myself. I want to put the interviewer agency and the interviewer county. All right, perfect. This will be pre-populated from the universal data elements. And here we have the series of SPDATs. We have the SPDAT for singles, families, and for youth as well. So we'll fill out the SPDAT for singles. Now, before continuing, I just want to note that the SPDAT is a separate training that is not done through HMIS. The questions specific to the SPDAT are through another company, another organization, and there should be a specific training on how to complete this. As a result, we'll just go ahead and complete this real quickly here, and we'll see what answers we get at the end. Most of the questions are pretty self-explanatory, and so you should be able to guess what you should be able to answer the questions just based on context. But like I said, there is a training specific by the actual agency and organization that produces this BDAT for us to use. And you can see it is a little bit of a lengthy assessment, so it's definitely good to go ahead and be thorough and get that training, so that way we know that we're completing it correctly, because this really can affect whether or not a client qualifies or can be referred to some other agencies. Now the SPDATs, if there is a SPDAT in place already and your client is coming into your project, but you see a SPDAT was done just a month ago, there's not a need to complete another SPDAT as a result. You can just go ahead and um, continue using that SPDAT. Really, a SPDAT should be done about every 6 months unless there was some significant, extremely major change in the client's life. Otherwise, we go ahead and just use the SPDAT already in place if it was in the past couple of months. But once you've completed it, you'll click Calculate at the bottom. It has a recommendation, and we'll click Save. Okay. And then if I scroll back up here, you'll see that my SPDAT has come here and is entered into this system. We'll want to scroll down here, and we'll also want to enter the bottom 3 questions here. So our preferred referral county is where they'd like to live. And does the client have ties to preferred county? Right, perfect. And the final question at the bottom is the coordinated assessment client contact information. And this is a way to get a hold of the client should you not be in touch with the client for a couple days. You're going to enter a phone number if they're able to give it to you. We're going to also enter the street information or the cross streets if they're not living in a housing situation, of course. And we'll go ahead and just enter the information so that if someone does pick up a referral for the client, that they are in some way able to locate them and try to contact them so that they may be entered in the project. So let's click Save. All right, and now that we're done there, we'll simply click Save and Exit. And here we have our coordinated entry project, and our data has been entered right on our line right here. So the next step of the coordinated entry process is we have to make the referrals appropriate to the client's acuity score to the appropriate agency. And so we'll want to go to Service Transactions to add a referral. Now, if you have any questions about referrals or adding referrals, you can refer to the case management training, which covers referrals in detail. Any additional questions not covered there, or if you have any other concerns, you can always contact the HMIS Help Desk at hmisaz.org and submit a ticket directly to the Help Desk. So for now, we'll just add a referral by clicking the Add Referrals button. All right, perfect. And so at the very top, we have our service code quick list, and I'm going to refer my client to 2 agencies, one for emergency shelter for the interim and one for permanent housing, or in this case, rapid rehousing, based on my client's acuity score. So I'll click emergency shelter and add the terms, and I'll also select rapid rehousing and add the terms. And once this has been added, we'll go to my provider referral quick list, and I want to refer them to my own agency for emergency shelter, and we'll go ahead and refer them to, let's say, Horizon Health and Wellness in the Pinal County for possible rapid rehousing. Now we'll scroll down a little bit more, and we'll also want to go ahead and make sure we complete the referral data in the referral data section here. So first we'll want to complete the referral ranking. And this is, for me, it's going to be rapid rehousing, but this is the range or the acuity score your client received under the VI SPDAT we just completed previously. You can also attach this VI SPDAT to the client by clicking the search next to the appropriate SPDAT you've completed. Click the green plus sign, and that way you can attach the actual SPDAT as well as the score range and have that so the next agency can take a look at that. Okay. Now we'll scroll down to the referrals, and so we see the agencies we've selected and we see the type of services we've selected as well. We're just going to make sure that the appropriate check marks are selected so that the agencies do refer the appropriate referrals. And the final piece we'll complete here is the selected needs section. And for both of these, the emergency shelter and the rapid rehousing programs, we'll want to select a need status as well as an outcome. Now, for the emergency shelter, I am referring the client to myself, so I already know what the status of this is going to be. So I can select closed and fully met because I'm referring the client to myself, and that way I know it's being picked up. But since the rapid rehousing is being referred to somebody else, and I'm not sure of the outcome, I'll leave the need status as identified and the outcome as service pending, as we don't know what the outcome will be. It will be actually up to the other agency to determine and complete these fields if they do go ahead and pick up the referral. Once completed, we'll simply click Save All, and we'll process. And we'll see our referrals, the referral dates, the agencies, and the type of referrals that we made for the clients. Now, the final piece to the coordinated entry system is to go back to the client's information and go back to the Entry Exit tab. Now, we will go ahead and exit the client in most cases the same day you enter in the project. The purpose of the coordinated entry project is to really to assess the client and make an appropriate referral to the appropriate agencies. So there's no need to keep this project open. You'll want to go ahead and complete the exit date once you do refer the client to the appropriate agencies. So we'll click the exit date pencil. This has also been covered as well in the introductory series, but for this case, the reason for leaving, we'll say completed program, and for destination will generally be the same location that the client was at when they met you, since it is the same day, and all you're doing is providing an assessment and a referral, and then exiting them right away. So click save and continue. Okay. And then we'll just complete the final two questions, assessment disposition, and we'll say exactly what we did here. So we're going to say that we referred them, and we're going to say we referred them to Referee Housing ultimately, and we'll click save and exit. And there, our coordinated entry system entry has been completed. The final piece that is useful for coordinated entry is running referral reports. Now these can be used to see which clients are being referred to your own personal agency. So let me go ahead and get our sidebar back here, and I'm going to go ahead and go home, and I'm going to select get out of enter data as mode. So I'm just back to my standard agency, the HMIS test agency. Now to run a referral report, you'll simply go to reports, and there should be a button that says referral reports. So we have referrals down here. Let me go and minimize my left-hand toolbar again. So the first field we'll fill out is provider, and this is just my HMIS test agency. And then we have two options, this provider and its subordinates, and this provider only. So I'm selecting this provider only, but if you select the subordinates, any project that's beneath it will also gather the information for this report. For referral type, we'll select incoming referrals to provider or outgoing referrals from this provider. In this case, I'm going to select incoming referrals to see who sent their clients to us. And we'll go ahead and we can select the type of status. In this case, I'll select all just to see whether we've touched any already. The referral outcome, you can accept here or select from here. And then you want to do the date range. And I'll just do it for the past month. So let me just adjust the dates here. Enter today's current date. You can also select a sort order, and this will sort the columns according to whatever you want. We have name, group ID, BI score. I won't use the sort order here, but it's an ability you have and you can use if you want. We'll just simply click build report, and we'll see all the reports. And here you can see that we referred my client to my own agency. You'll see the VI SPDAT score, the type of need, as well as the date of the referral. Now, if you actually go ahead and update the referral outcome, you can select the checkbox, select update referral outcome, and you can select whether it was saved or not or accepted and so forth. So we'll save that referral information, exit, and we see it's now been accepted. And there's a good way to track the referrals there. And that's the training coordinated entry for Balance of State users. We definitely appreciate your time in watching this video and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.